New sponsor, 4Q Coffee. And speaking of 4Q Coffee, we're getting right into it today. We got the man behind the 4Q. That is the one, the only Scott Fishkind. Scott, my friend, how are you doing?
Good morning, Pete. How are you today?
I am doing simple. I'm simply ravishing right now. I feel good. I've just gotten over being a little sick, but I feel good this morning, man. The coffee really just gave me the boost that I needed.
Listen, Monday morning blues, everyone feels them, but a little 4Q will do the trick.
A little 4Q, no doubt about it, would do the trick. Guys, I am drinking it today. I do want to salute the chat, and we have well over 100 people in here now. Guys, hit that like button for us. But I do want to salute the chat and just thank you guys again for your continued support. A lot of you have asked me about 4Q immediately, and I told Scott, I said, look, there's nobody better to talk about it than Scott. So
Hmm.
Scott, please give us a nice background on 4Q. What does it mean? And I've done some of that already, but again, nobody could talk about it better than you can. So the floor is yours.
Look, the best way to describe it, the way where it came from and how we just arrived where we got to is if you're from New York or came to New York or know anything about New York, you know it's just a 4Q mentality. And the
Oh yeah.
bottom line is the four in the Q, it's not fourth quarter, it's not four quarters. Say it like a New Yorker. It's 4Q. That's what it
Yeah.
is. And,
Yeah.
and the coffee's amazing. And we tell people if you don't like it, 4Q. If the attitude's not for you, 4Q. It's the name.
That's it.
So
And the
that's how
great
we've
thing
all.
about that is, but the great thing about that is, and everybody in this chat's gonna notice immediately, like, all right, Pete, I get why you guys are working together because this makes all the sense in the world. It's the same type of attitude, same type of personality. I was telling Scott before, I said, we're real talk for the real fans. So if you don't like it, for Q. In reality, just get out. You know what I mean? If you can't handle it, if it's too hot for you, get out the kitchen. So Scott, you're also a retired firefighter, and that's something that here at NYYU, we always support our first responders, military. We try to do as much as we can, but give us some background on that also.
Yeah. So back in 1999, I actually joined the fire department and I'm still active involved in my local community fire department. Many people might or might not know, but everywhere outside of basically the five boroughs of Manhattan is all volunteer community based, right? So all of Long Island,
Right.
all of upstate, there's no paid members. Everyone from a
Wow.
firefighter to an officer to a chief is just given of yourself and of your time. I joined a department back 25 years ago. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life and still is actually the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the support, your ride or dies, your go-to,
Hmm.
who do you call at 3 o'clock in the morning for anything? You learn that sense of camaraderie. It's no different than being in the armed services or any kind of law enforcement. You know who's got your six, as they say, right?
Yeah.
So it was a huge learning and growth experience for me as a person, as a businessman, as an individual. Again, learning about trust, honesty, camaraderie, brotherhood, doing the right thing all the time, not sometimes, but all the
Yep.
time, standing by what you do, standing by who you stand with, and supporting those. It's not always a good time, right? And you got to be there for each other in the good and the bad times.
Yeah, it's extremely well put, and we need more of that in today's world. Definitely, more and more of that would be desperately needed in today's time. So when you're doing all this, was how does coffee get involved? How do you sit back and go after all this is done? I want to do something coffee related. How does that happen?
It's a great question, Pete. It was actually an easy fallback for me. So, two things. First of all, is anyone who's in law enforcement knows, or first responder knows, that your life revolves around coffee. It's driven around coffee. It's one of the reasons, actually, that most places that sell coffee are open 24 hours a day, because when
Mm,
everything else closes, the people who work the overnights rely on coffee, for lack of
yeah,
better words.
right.
But how did it fall back to me? So, going back generations, actually, one of my grandparents was in the coffee manufacturing industry, and another one of my grandparents was in confections and chocolates in the food service
Mm,
industry. So it's kind of been in my bloodline for a long time. So I've known about it. I've known about cupping and blends and roast colors and over roasting or under roasting, or how to mix the right blends if you're looking for something bitter or light or acidic or
Right.
non-acidic. It felt natural for me, but what felt more natural is the fact that everything from what I've known in my life and the people that I associate with, especially like I said, in the first responder community, revolves around coffee, right? You wake up in
Right.
the morning, it's your morning coffee. You start your morning show, it's your morning coffee. People, have a bad shift or a bad tour or a day at work. There's nothing that tastes better than that first sip of your coffee.
Right.
And all of our products actually say it the way I
Mhm.
unintentionally say it, but coffee,
That's
CAWFEE.
right.
That's
Yeah,
what
no,
it
no
is.
doubt about it. No doubt about it. That is the way you say it. And that's why I love that. I love playing that Macho Man clip because, he says the cup of coffee. You know what I mean? He has
Yeah.
the emphasis on it, and you have to. We do got a super chat from our friend Connor O'Neill. He goes, Scott, thank you for your service. When will the ground coffee be available? My dad was a cop in New York for 25 years. We appreciate your service.
Wow. Well, thank you, and thank you, Dad, for his service, and for you being a child of someone in law enforcement. You know what it's like to have no breaks, denied shifts, for holidays, whatever the case might be.
Mm,
But going on to the ground question, it's a really great question. Believe it or not, and I'm going to say it how it is, Pete, because it's your show.
of course.
The world is still operating in that crazy COVID mind
Yeah.
sometimes, with delays in logistics and raw products. So although we could roast the coffee right now and get it out the door tomorrow, our delay is with fulfillment of they call it film, which is basically the bags that it goes in.
Right.
Within the next 4 to 6 weeks, all the ground and whole bean products will be up on the site, as well as other platforms that we sell on Amazon and Walmart.com and stuff. But the blends are already picked, the roast colors, everything's ready to go. Just waiting for our film to land in from our film manufacturers. This way we can start roasting and packing, because everything is fresh with us. We don't roast it and let it sit. You got to roast,
Right.
grind, and pack, or roast, whole bean, and pack it.
Yeah, I'll say this, guys. Yesterday, a couple of days ago, I had the French vanilla. The French vanilla is my go-to already. I'm having
Mm,
dark roast now. The dark roast is great. So again, I have, as Scott said, the ground isn't ready to go out yet, but I got the K cups, and I just went ahead and dropped it right into the Mr. Coffee, and be good to go. That's the other way to do it, right? You don't need the Keurig exactly. You can still do it that way. And let me tell you, man, I'm not again. I give you guys my word on this. You guys know that we don't just put any sponsor on here for no reason. We don't do that here at NYYU. I had the French vanilla is smooth as smooth can be. My fiance is extremely picky. I made the coffee. I left it down there. She had it. She goes, "Is that the new one?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "That is amazing." So we're huge fans. I recommend to everybody. This is the website right here. Let me pull it up on our screen. So again, I mean, let me tell you this too, Scott. The logo's phenomenal. So when I originally saw the logo, it drew me to it. I was like, I want to know more about this company. So, salute to that, because it really does draw your attention to want to see it. So again, guys, 4qcoffee.com. You go on there, you get your K cups already. Those are available. And by the way, too, the merch is awesome. We sell merch. We love our merch. But the merch is also an awesome thing, and it has style to it. It has
mm.
flair. It has that New York attitude, like you talk about, and it's just a great partnership. So guys, you definitely got to go support. Um, I'm just really happy to be working with you, Scott, and I think the future is going to be very bright for the both of us.
I appreciate that, Peter. If I could add on to something you just
Please go ahead.
mentioned, to your point, is that I this has become a common language now. Is that people come for the attitude, but they stay for the coffee, because exactly to your point. Listen, the
Right,
branding is cute, the packaging is cute, it speaks for something,
yep,
it says a lot about who we support and what we believe in. But at the end of the day, and I wholeheartedly say this because any venture I get involved with and do, I do 1,000%, not
right,
100%. I go
right,
150% with, is that I didn't want someone opening the box and tasting the coffee and like, the blends I went with, the beans where they're sourced from, everything is above and beyond excellent. And that's the point. People come for the attitude and what we believe in, and they stay for the coffee because the quality is where it's at.
It is. It is extremely, extremely good. We do got another super chat from Nicholas Truesdell. He says, as a military veteran myself, I support this team up and sponsorship. Good job, Pete. Way to lead by example. Looking forward to supporting both of you guys. So we thank you for that. Anything you want to, let me ask you this question real quick, because obviously we got you on here, right? So it's funny. One of our teammates, Francis Lee, he likes to say, have some for Q. And the reason he said, there's a little background to that, right? Because there's a New York Yankee player that we don't like to mention, Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks signed a pretty decent size contract, never really lived up to it, and he wasn't too well liked in New York. So one of the offseason goes, the Yankees, we got to have some fuck you. Is basically just comes out and says it. And everybody's like, this guy's the guy saying that? But so he uses that as the have some for Q. I love that. It sounds great. I think it's awesome. But what is your experience with the New York Yankees? Any type of memories at all being in New York?
Listen,
New York firefighter?
it's funny you asked that because I grew up during a generation, and it wasn't so long ago, but you remember the "I'll take the bleacher creatures any day." How you doing? Remember?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So I have a lot of great memories up at the stadium and in the Bronx. And do I have a favorite? No. Is there any specific game that would stand out better than others? It's hard to say. I mean, honestly, the Subway Series back in the day was a great time, and the country was in a better place. New York was in an amazing place during that time. You were able to, say "fuck you" to somebody, and it wasn't taken offensively, and people knew it was almost like saying hello to somebody. It's like, "Yeah, what's up? Fuck you."
I'm so happy you say that though, because that's sometimes what I got to explain to people, because a lot of people, of course, outside of New York, they don't understand that attitude.
Yeah.
Like New Yorkers would be like, you're so stupid. And like, I don't mean offense by this. So like you said, go fuck yourself. We don't mean it as a literally go do it or I dislike you. It's a form of communication for us. It's part of the language. I tell people all the time, I say, look, it's part of my vocabulary. I can't help myself. It's who I am.
Touche. And that's why you'll see when some of our other flavors start rolling out. I mean, we didn't even start advertising them yet, but obviously you like the French vanilla. It's called 4Q Sweetly. Our hazelnut is called hazelnut buster nut, and we have a lot of our roasts play into that kind of New York-ish, way, and nothing wrong with that way, by the way. Other people have to kind of understand that, it's like comedy, right? Comedy, someone's always getting, let's say, insulted, but that's what humor sometimes is, and that's what comedy is. And that's what New York is, right? New York is being able to say, "Hey, what's up, Pete? Fuck you, man. Your show sucks." But 100%. It doesn't suck. It's awesome. But you know where it's coming from. Like, yeah, I love you too, man. Let's go for a beer.
Exactly. Yeah, no doubt about it. That's the New York way. And look, that's why I think NYYU has taken off the way it has, because you never hear somebody call a ball game like me. You know what I mean? Right. You'll never hear on a broadcast, even though they may want to say it. Why, why the fuck is he taking this guy out the game? You'll never hear that anywhere else, but here, you're going to hear that type of stuff. And now, I tell you guys this, now that I got this coffee all year for every game, it might get really wild in here. Who the hell knows what's going to happen while I'm drinking this coffee calling the ball game? So it's going to be pretty wild this year.
Well, you know what it is, Pete? And is that you say what everyone's thinking, which is what's awesome about your show, right? And it's no different than this brand. This brand, I'm not doing anything so spectacular here other than bringing out what everyone's thinking, what everyone wants to say, but sometimes doesn't say, but now it gives them that platform to congregate around. Hey, listen, our customer base, believe it or not, has spread so far across the country. We're shipping orders even to Alaska now, and people who really subscribe, and this whole, most importantly, law enforcement and veteran community that, especially in today's world, has unfortunately become almost forgotten about, which is awful in its own right, needs a common place to come together on. And believe it or not, 4Q is becoming a platform for that. And I'm happy about it,
man. So very, very happy about this partnership. And look, Scott, if you're ever available, by all means, we'd love to have you on again. Just to keep us updated on some things, maybe when there's a new release, things getting ready to come out, by all means, we'd love to bring you back on the platform again. Any last remarks for everybody in the chat?
You know what? I think you're awesome, Pete. Your show is
Thank you, man.
awesome. I love what I said before is that you say what everyone's thinking, and that's why
Yep.
so many people love listening to you and into involving themselves with you and around you. And I always say, man, birds of a feather, birds of a feather, stick together, flock
Yep.
together. You're building a community of people that are all on that same page, and I'm proud to be part of your subscriber base.
Thank you so much. So again, guys, you guys know the website, 4qcoffee.com. Look, man, get on it quick. I'm telling you, you are not gonna dislike it. And look, man, it's helping great causes. Scott, you see him, he is a great guy. And who doesn't want to help our first responders in any way possible? Just bring awareness to it. Who does not truly want to do that? So again, Scott, thank you so much for coming on today, and we'll definitely have you on again.
Thank you, brother. Take it
All
easy.
right, my friend, take it easy. All right, guys, that was, of course, Scott Fishkind from our friends at 4Q. So, again, guys, check it out. You guys know we would never lead you wrong here at NYYU. It is really, really good. I'm drinking the dark roast right now. Also good. That French vanilla. Let me tell you guys real quick about that French vanilla, man. That French vanilla is absolutely something else. As I said before, Jira is very, very picky.